where we are currently, we're hovering at above the 101,000, close to about 102,000. But what you see here, I mean, just starting with yesterday, it went from, hovering above 100,000 for over a week, and all of a sudden we saw volatility kick in. In fact, it dropped down to about 97,000, and we saw it getting bought up here. So heavy buying right when it reached sub 100,000. Currently, even though we see some nice upward motion here with the price of Bitcoin, there's been a lot of volatility that's going on, and this is all driven from the emergence of China's AI breakthrough, DeepSeek, which may be influencing the market sentiment. And I think right now it's drawing a lot of uncertainty because with this new application, the question is, can China do things, more efficiently? Are they making it, better, faster, and at a low cost? And that's really what's driving the price of the entire stock market today down. So just to cover here, just with this rainbow chart, just to keep in mind, long-term perspective, we still are in the accumulation phase with Bitcoin. While today was such a bloodbath, just to keep in mind that Bitcoin is still in the accumulation phase. We still have not yet seen Bitcoin break all-time high this year alone. Let's take a look at this article here. Trump even noted that it truly is a wake-up call for the American tech companies. And we heard last week with the $500 billion partnership between SoftBank, OpenAI, and Oracle to create Stargate, which is a $500 billion project that's going to start in Texas here. But I think with this recent announcement from the Chinese artificial intelligence app, this truly is a wake-up call for the US, specifically for America's tech companies as they want runway popularity. However, what we do realize is that with this app, I mean, it rose to the number one on the Apple App Store over the weekend. But when you think about it, will there be any restrictions that the US government will apply? I mean, what's interesting here? Let's play this video here.
Major AI advancement in China that U.S. officials are already warning could be a threat to national security. Brian Chung is here. Brian, what do we know about this app?
Lester, it's an AI chatbot called DeepSeek, and it's the number one free app on Apple's App Store. Those in the AI space have been impressed by how well it stands up to its American competitors, but it's Wall Street that's shaken by how cheap its developers say they were able to train it. Just $5.6 million. Now, if true, that would be more efficient compared to how much it costs to train ChatGPT and Google's Gemini AI, which are made here in the U.S.
Big question for a lot of users. Will this have the same national security concerns that we saw with TikTok?
Well, it could. DeepSeek's terms of use are governed by China, and it raises serious questions over censorship and guided answers. Now, DeepSeek says it collects users' keystrokes and stores information in Chinese servers. And some lawmakers on Capitol Hill have already expressed concern. And it's a good reminder, by the way, Lester, to never give your personal sensitive information to any AI software.
So there's updates about security risk here. I think that it's going to be something that Americans will be worried about using this app and releasing your own identity information. So I think it'll be interesting to see what comes out from all this, but truly a wake-up call. I agree with what Trump said, and that America should not be complacent. We should be the number one country. I think what we can control is make the best software and be the number one. However, this really shows capability with other countries being able to make software at the level that can produce results at a much cheaper cost. However, I think this is really a wake-up call where the US companies really need to develop, compete, and make the best products here. Let's take a look at just recent news in that we have Dennis Porter here. Breaking news that Arizona has become the first state in the nation to pass out the committee a bill to create a strategic Bitcoin reserve. So eventually this bill will soon get to the Senate. And I believe all of this is really going to have all the other states, go through the execution of having this bill be approved from their own, state legislature. So I think this is definitely a great start here. We're eventually going to see like Texas, Florida, all the different states that we've been hearing about, potentially adopting strategic Bitcoin reserve. But it's nice to see this. This is going to be a positive catalyst for the US to start ramping up their Bitcoin HODL reserve. Let's take a look at just updates with MicroStrategy. So Michael Saylor posted updates. It's been the 12th consecutive week where MSTR has been buying up Bitcoin. They've been just using dollar cost averaging, whether it's going down or up. Goal is to continue to borrow money and use that money to buy up Bitcoin, similar to that vacuum black hole analogy that I've been sharing, really buying up raw Bitcoin, converting that Bitcoin to wrap Bitcoin to meet the needs of different clients. In fact, today, MicroStrategy just announced STRK, new convertible preferred stock offering for investors who really want to capitalize on dividend gains at about 8% with dividend gains. So over time, this fund here, you actually get paid out on dividends. Now, we've heard about MSTU, it's the MSTR on steroids, as well as even bond investments. So it really just shows MSTR's different approaches with different levers to accommodate different client needs. So especially with countries where investors are not able to buy Bitcoin, they're able to adopt Bitcoin through a MicroStrategy ownership with stocks. So this is a huge testament here in that now the HODL amount is 471,000 Bitcoins acquired for $30.4 billion total with an average cost of 64,000 per Bitcoin. So with that convertible note of $1.1 billion, they're increasing their HODL. Eventually, they're going to get over, 500,000 Bitcoins on their treasury reserve. So I think all of what we got today was that the market did, in fact, freak out with the DeepSeek news. MSTR continues to stay the course and buy up Bitcoin long term. MSTR is going to be the Titan, and that's why they're going to just perform so well here. I mean, truly, MSTR is the Bitcoin king, and there's no second best here. Let's take a look at just this article here. Bitcoin mining stocks with AI ambition were completely annihilated today. We saw what happened to a lot of the Bitcoin miner companies like Core Scientific, TeraWulf, BitDeer, all dropped by about 30% for those companies that have already AI infrastructure in place. And even Riot lost 16%, even though they haven't truly pivoted into AI sector yet. But overall, the market, wiped out about $1 billion dollars in leveraged crypto positions and reinforced crypto tight correlation with tech stocks that shows the power of AI news, how that could really impact, all of what's happening in the Bitcoin in crypto market as well. But I think what's really going to be interesting is the outcome from this week's Federal Reserve decisions and big tech earnings that we'll be hearing on top of MicroStrategy's earnings, as well as Bitcoin miners next week when we get early February data. Let's take a look at the technicals here. So at one point, we saw MSTR dropping to about, 5% today at the low point of $322. It actually started going back up here as the price of Bitcoin continued to go up. But we see here some heavy buying here towards the end of the market, even though MSTR went down by about 1.46%, but held up very well. Continue to stay the course buying Bitcoin, even though we got this uncertainty news with DeepSeek. So this really just shows the tightening of MSTR after the recent bleed out here. I think that we're going to start seeing, $400 coming up here in February very soon here. Let's take a look at just the Bitcoin miners here, especially the big three. Mara, you see here in the candlestick here, it dropped by, close to 8% today, and we saw, CleanSpark down, 13%, Riot Platforms dropping, 17%. So big time sell-offs today because of just with the market news in China releasing that application. But to me, I definitely do think that this is just a hiccup in the market. Yes, we are going through some huge volatility here, but I do think that come earnings report, we're going to see some positive news here, especially with two, three consecutive underperformance with earnings report. I don't think that we're going to see a consecutive underperformance with earnings report. So it's really going to be driven with catalysts with like Nvidia's earnings report. Hopefully, we show better than expected results and also better than expected results with MSTR and the Bitcoin miners like Mara, Riot, and CleanSpark. But where we are, definitely some turbulence this week. Question is, will we see more turbulence tomorrow? Hopefully not, but I definitely do think that huge undervalue taking here. I think with these miners here, it's been since like May of 2022 when we saw such a beatdown with the price action, but I don't think that that's going to happen significantly more in the coming days, and that we'll see, better days in the horizon. So there you have it. I hope that this video gave you updates on Bitcoin price action, MicroStrategy, and the Bitcoin miners. Please leave your comments and thoughts down below. Thank you, guys.